But it
she
was
mocks
so
me, the
bad.
wife.
It was
She
so
mocks me over this.
bad.
It was
It
for a
started
cause.
here.
I grew
You had like
the
a 7 head,
gnarliest.
my guy. It was
It
like
was
you could
rough.
literally. It was like this.
What is it now?
And then
What do you think it is? There's 4. It's a
8,
7
9?
currently. Oh my god! It's a full
It's an
fucking
8, bro.
7.
It's an 8. That's an 80.
You think it's an 8?
Yeah, I think it's
No,
an
I
8.
don't think it's 8. 8, we're into the darkness. 8, we're into the dark. Oh my god, it's a 7. I have a 7 head.
I'm gonna say a 7.5. I'm gonna say a 7.5 head. It's okay, man. It happens.
Fair.
It comes for
That's
all
generous.
of us. It comes for all of us.
That's very generous. I'm listening, but I'm switching it. It gets a little gurgly for whatever reason.
You're good. No worries. No worries. Welcome back to another episode of Going For It. It is just the big brain boys left. It is just Craig Brooks and myself bringing you all of the nonsense and the shenanigans. We are going to talk about 3 games. We used to break this apart into 2 separate videos. Why we do that? We're putting them together, and we are going to talk Thursday night football, Sunday night football, Monday night football, and just break it down for you guys a little more in depth, tell you what we're thinking, what we're feeling, and then pick our X factors and our score predictions for those games. We are going to start with the Tennessee Titans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Unfortunately, Mike Thomas could not join us. He has an ingrown hair neck Brillo pad situation happening, and it's aggressively attacking his vocal cords. And he's going to a doctor to get that checked out, and why there's a big gap in between his mustache.
We do want to figure it out. So if you guys know, because you've seen him, we're worried. It could be a medical condition. It's not coming in right. It's very patchy.
We're also worried that his wife likes it, so we're also looking for a new optician for them.
Yeah, we're thinking she's a wonderful woman. So like I know her personally. I'm concerned. I'm concerned with her optic nerve, maybe, or some sort of situation. There could be a lens issue. Maybe let's start a GoFundMe for LASIK.
Not strong enough. We should, LASIK will fix that right up. I don't know if it's going to do Mike any favors, but just look out for the wife.
We're trying.
Unfortunately, he will not be able to join us, but we are going to break this down. Tennessee Titans at Steelers. Mike was the sole Titan selector based on precedent in our pick'em, and honestly, I don't hate that pick after last week. Tennessee kind of went off. You've expressed your reluctance, your sadness of having one DeAndre Hopkins on the bench, but how could you have known? How could you have known in seeing what's happening in Vegas?
It was emotional because it was against Mike.
How could you have not? Yeah, I heard that. He discussed with me when we recorded the Thursday night. He was like, "I'm playing Craig. I never beat Craig," and I was like, "You need to beat Craig."
I know he did, but no, Craig beat Craig is what happened because I had D-Hop in the lineup.
That's true.
Till Thursday, and then I Rashee Riced myself, thinking the Chiefs weren't going to do a dud. And even if they hadn't, it was still the wrong move to move. Again, all things falling apart. Now I got to check the app because I thought I was trying to take the Titans to hope Derrick Henry was going to get.
Maybe you were trying to take the Titans.
Let me see. Maybe not.
You did take the Titans.
I did.
I was the sole Steeler.
I did because
you guys both picking the Titans.
I'm rooting for the 200-yard Derrick Henry day. Even though it won't get me a victory over Mike,
could happen.
I can take solace in that. I think he's actually doing well in that league. So I'd like to see him feel real cocky, finish in second, no prize, make the playoffs, make the championship, and lose. That's what I would really like.
That would really squash his spirits in a way that I can support. Again, I don't know how you play. The tinkering on Thursday nights is always difficult. It's always tough. I picked up Leonard Fournette this week. As soon as I saw he signed with the Bills, I was
missed it.
Give me that man. So I have him waiting on my bench because I know the bottom is going to come out of Raheem Mostert here at some point in the near future. So I was like, gotta get some insurance. Got some. We'll see how it works out. I'm not sure. But I don't know how you could have trusted D-Hop because you got a rookie, you got Malik Willis, who last season
it was Levis for me.
He was worth
it was the unknown of Levis that took me off of it. But it also, after seeing how well he did, I don't think it's every week we're going to see the guy throw. I think he threw 4 total tutties.
Yeah, he
I
threw
do
4.
think
Yeah.
he changes a lot for that team that already had some decent pieces, some very strong weapons, and Mike Vrabel with a medium to high defense, not top 5 or anything like that, but definitely serviceable.
No.
So now it just feels like they will spoil more with Levis than they would with either of the other two, or the two combined. Like that one game, I think they were playing both of them or something. Like it just wasn't going to work.
Yeah, literally last week.
And aren't
yeah,
we
they were
just going to see
throwing
this
both of them
guy
out
be the
there.
starter now? Like he's got to have 2 fuck ups in a row, I think.
How could you not at this point? Because I think the Titans are. I don't think they're close to the division lead.
I have the
they're a
standings
ways
up,
out.
so I can tell you that they are 3-4, and because the Jags are actually good, they are 3 games out, and the Texans are in the way, and the Colts are not, there's all 3 of them are tied for 3 wins: Texans, Titans, and Colts. So yes, I think playoffs are not as approachable for them, because I think that we're going to see one wild card be the AFC East no matter what, and I think we're going to see another one come out of the North, and that just doesn't leave enough. I think the Titans would have to make an epic run. But again, I'm still supporting that. I think they can get this win because that Steeler D is great too. This is going to be very interesting. It's like each one has their best against the best. Like the better offense is against the better defense. You know what I mean? But
right. But Tennessee's defense is better than Pittsburgh's
for sure
offense. So it could be, and they're better than the inverse too. I think Tennessee's defense is even better than Tennessee's offense. So this is an opportunity. This is going to be an interesting game. We know Thursday night games are predominantly
there's been a few
watered down
there's been
offenses,
a few fun ones.
and for sure. But typically, what they do is they water down the offense, heavy run game, Derek. We want that 200. I don't think I play him this week, unless if I do, I don't want 200. But
want it for me.
I think now that we're talking this out, I almost feel like the Titans are in a better position because you're getting Will Levis in this game. He's your starter. He's the one that's going to play, and you're simplifying your offense anyway. You're just going to play to his strengths the whole time, which is bomb the ball to D-Hop and hand it off to whoever's behind me.
Easy strategy.
It's not a bad option.
One thing that frustrates me about the Titans, and it'd be interesting to get your take on this. I was talking to David about it today. They're not the only team that does this, but they do it often. I know Derek is not the huge threat out of the backfield, right? They don't love throwing it to him, but they have, and he has done well. He rumbles, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you get him in space, the yak is going to be very good. But what they do when they get down a little bit is they completely move him out of the set. He literally on the sideline, one of the top 2 weapons on the team. The defense now knows what you're doing. You've gone one-dimensional, and they keep doing that. I don't think it's an anomaly why they have not returned to that form of 2 seasons ago, being the 1 seed and then faltering immediately. What is that about? Why would they? Yeah. What's the strategy behind that? Where you're just gonna because we were talking about, because Green Bay is doing it with Aaron Jones, and he's back, he's healthy, but then he's not there when they're down by 10. All right, then fake him doing a wheel route or something. And David was getting all defensive, no, he drops it sometimes. I'm well, everyone does. Come on now. I think it's a sign of bad offensive strategy. You're not playing chess, you're playing fucking checkers.
Yeah, honestly, what I'd love to see from the Titans in that regard is a double backfield, because Tajay Spears is really good out of the backfield. He is the heir apparent, it seems. Yeah. He can run, he can catch passes, he's good. But Derrick Henry is still Derrick fucking Henry. And if you put Will Levis in the middle, you then have counter options.
The threat of Derrick moves the defense. You take him off the field. Yes, you're getting an extra receiver. I get that. But that plays into the defense's hand using corners and safeties.
And who's Tennessee's 4th receiver that they're definitely need this guy on the field? No, come on.
So I'm not crazy, right? It seems not
no. I think
even if you're not going to give him the ball, the defense must respect his placement. So why are you doing that?
Yeah, I think you so I am well aware neither one of us are offensive gurus or
We don't
geniuses or
know
anything
that.
like
We
that, but you are
theoretically
watching.
might be, just not given the opportunity.
We don't know. We don't know. You are watching the most creative and explosive offense in the league week in, week out as a Dolphins fan. So I think Mike McDaniel's rubbing off on you a little bit.
Maybe so.
And you're seeing Achane and Mostert in the backfield split. You run guys out wide. You utilize motion to move the defense. And especially if you have a guy like Levis, and if you want to even say Tannehill with his experience, that's going to only give you information. That is only going to help you figure out what they're doing on that side to more effectively do what you need to do.
Exactly where I'm at.
So it seems like a mistake from Tennessee's
Do you think
side.
it's just because like that offensive style that you're right? I wasn't recency bias. I think I am affected by McDaniel's success over the season and a half. And also he's not the only one. The Niners, it's a Shanahan new wrinkle. Yeah. I know they weren't doing that in the original Shanahan offense or OG Shanahan. Right. But this type of motion and information gathering, I like the way you said that, because that's really what helps out a quarterback to know where to go with the ball, because you're getting more information from the motion and, of course, getting some people open faster, which means the ball can come out sooner. That serves a rookie really well, too. But are we up against older-minded coordinators or head coaches that don't feel like they could pivot that midway? So now you're in an old kind of system that the defense can easily plan for, and you're not going to win important games.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, the teams that are going to be good and the teams that adapt, look at Andy Reid. You know, his offense has stood the test of time because I think he's willing to adapt. In Philly, you know, he ran a different type of offense than he runs in Kansas City, but Kansas City has been through how many iterations, and you know, the man grows with the game. I don't think that he's someone that's ever been like, I'm going to run the ball 30 times. Like, no, he's not that guy. But he's still advanced to a point where he's like, Mahomes needs to throw the ball 40 times. If we're going to win, he needs to throw the ball 40 times. But interspersed with that, I need 15 to 17 carries from this guy, and this guy. We need some screens, we need some dump offs, and he's just figured that out. He's figured out that balance. I think, and this is my offensive bias showing here, I think defensive coaches are always a mistake in the NFL, or defensive head coaches are always a mistake in the NFL, because I use this analogy in hockey all the time. It's less prevalent in football, but you can't win a game 0-0. Nobody wins that game. You need to score points to win. The only way you score points is if you are good on offense. Take it from me, a Giants fan.
There hasn't been a defense only, right? You have to put up points when you've got the ball. There's the Ravens in the 2000s where the offense wasn't amazing or anything. There was the Bucks in the early 2000s, same, where the offense wasn't amazing, but they scored. They put up points. These teams that aren't putting up points.
Well, and they controlled the ball. They controlled the clock. They ran the ball well, and that was their offense.
They were in control, though. And not what we're seeing when people are getting behind. Exactly. I mean, again, I know I deviated us because really I'm saying that I think they can get a win here. I just don't think they can win big all season because they don't use their best weapons effectively. It took Will Levis coming in for D-Hop to be used appropriately.
Only been saying it all season.
Right.
I've only been saying it the whole time.
He's clearly capable of that. If that was able to, I'm not saying 3 tutties every week. It's just the amount of usage. So he's clearly capable of it. He's not washed. It's that Tannehill wasn't throwing it where it needed to go, or the coordinator wasn't choosing. We don't know, right? It's either the decision wasn't made because he didn't see it, or the original play didn't have it as teed up. We'll never know which one. We'd have to inspect footage for it. But I'd like to think that Levis, I don't know the guy. I know he dropped in the draft and got a little chip on his shoulder. I'd like to think in the moment where he knew it was going to be him, he's like, oh, I know what to do. You just throw to the best fucking player on the team as many times as you can.
That is correct.
And now you have an ally.
That is a methodology.
He's got an ally for at least another week. At least.
Yeah.
And you know he might throw 3 picks going right at him again. But you know he's going to D-Hop.
But and like if you're D Hop too, don't you feel responsible for like this dude's trusting me? Like I need to
I
go
got to
out
get
there and
open.
get that
And he
ball.
does, though. And D Hop can catch it even if he's not open. He's got
He does.
whatever,
He
some
does.
sort of massive
It's
hands or
true.
something. Like literally, like his anomaly, he has
It's
very
dumb.
long hands.
Yeah. He has like encyclopedia like hands.
Yeah, he's
They're
got
just
books. That's a
very
good way about it. He can
large
just
and
close a
long.
book on a
Yeah.
ball. I love it.
Yeah. It's just close up. Yeah. It's nuts. With all that being said, I wanted to kind of gas up your guys' pick because I do really like the Titans pick. I just think the Steelers defense can wreak havoc on a rookie quarterback, and that's what I'm basing it on. It is nothing more than that. Honestly, in talking this out, I'm more prone to lean towards the Titans, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna stick with my Steelers pick.
their D's fun.
My X factors in this game are going to be
Yeah,
TJ Watt,
yeah.
obviously for Pittsburgh. He gets to Levis early and often. It could be a very long game for Tennessee. On the Titans side of the ball, I am going to say the X factor for them is just going to be that offensive line. If they are able to stand up against Casey Hampton coming back, TJ Watt, anyone that they have that's a pass rusher on the Steelers side, if they give Will Levis a little bit of time, this could be a long night for Pittsburgh. It could be a long night for them. I am going to say the Steelers win this one 24-21. Very close game, but the veteran leadership of the defense seals a victory for Pittsburgh.
I will go score first. Why not? Because it just came to me. 27-17 Titans. That's right. I believe the X factor for the Titans is actually going to be Henry this game. And I think X factor on the other side would have to be, if they're gonna, even though I don't think they're gonna win, for me is actually Pickett coming in, making something happen, which he has shown he can do. I'll go pro Pickett there. I am still a pro Pickett long term kind of guy. The coming back off the injury could be a tough game, but I think he also has a lot to prove. So if they are going to make something happen, I think it's off his fingers.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be good.
I've been enjoying a lot of the night games, even some of the dumber matchups or whatever. I got to see the Bears play. Like I've been enjoying them. I've watched almost. It's almost always on. I might be working on the laptop or hanging with Mel or whatever. But our deal through football season is like she'll watch something on her phone or whatever. I don't always have the audio on, but I like the night games. I really do.
Well, speaking of night games, we are going to go to Sunday night, Buffalo at Cincy. We talked about this one a lot, so I don't feel a super pressing need to hang on it quite so much. But just to recap,
they're back.
The Bengals
they look
back,
great,
baby.
They look great. Joe
good.
has done this now a third season in a row, telling everyone to calm down over the first couple weeks. They're a team that, for whatever reason, needs to get going, right? They just need to kind of work the gears, turn it around. He was coming off that calf injury that now looks to be a literal thing of the past. He was moving. He was getting it done.
Yeah.
I heard I didn't see this play, but I heard he like stiff-armed Bosa or something to move forward and actually got through him, and Bosa's just a massive human, like just
beast
built,
of a human,
jacked out. So Joey B is good for the league. I'm not necessarily a Bengals fan, but I am that offense fan. I like watching the highlights. I think it's fun to see what they're doing. Obviously, if it came down to it, I want Miami to win the AFC. I don't want the Bengals to win the AFC. But the Bills continuously unimpress, and the Bengals have been impressive a couple weeks in a row. So can't really. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something good come out of the Bills, but it's like I'm not seeing the indications that would make me guess that.
Yeah, the Bills just feel like they went, was it 2-3 years ago, they started to become the darlings a little bit. They were everyone's early pick. Yeah, they were everyone's early pick to be, in the Super Bowl and this and that. And like, I like Josh Allen. I think he's super fun. But I don't get like Drew Brees vibes off of him, where he's gonna win one and like be one of these prolific like Hall of Fame,
but maybe
type
not good in the booth. There,
I look at him. He was not good in the booth. It was bad. I get more like Donovan McNabb vibes off of Josh Allen.
That's not the worst.
He's a guy that won a shit ton of games. was
Went to Super
always
Bowls.
competitive, went to Super Bowls, never won one. Could
Nope.
not close it in the big game. And I just feel that Josh Allen is closer
Josh
to
Allen might
Donovan
not get
McNabb
to one
than he is.
He's living in a bad era.
He might not.
It's like the people that must have went up against Jordan, right? Or as an AFC East person, me as a fan for what was happening during the Brady time. You might not get a goddamn swing because there are the Chiefs, because now the Dolphins are relevant. Lamar's got more to play for. Watch out. The Jaguars are well coached and have studs. Like it you said it on the previous recording. The window, I think what you said was this is the year it won't even be open another one. And I actually agree with that. Whereas I think Miami has one more. I would like it to not have to go to the last, because I'm seeing that with Buffalo, right? Their window started a couple years ago. This is the most competitive league in many ways, right? And you're not going to see teams be able to stay open as long as they have. I think it's just getting harder and harder and harder with the money getting thrown around. Even the Chiefs, who are verging on dynasty, it's hard to call them that because they haven't won a third. They've been to 4 or whatever, not 4, 3. They've been to 3, lost 1. So they've got to go to 4 and win 3 for it to be dynastic level, which we don't know. We think, but it also could be that we see a version like what happened with Brady where they'll go on a lull or whatever, and that's when some other teams can feast. Maybe the Bills, but not with the Bengals and the Jags and these other teams. Or what if Aaron comes back and the Jets are relevant for a season? So long-winded there, I apologize, but like it's hard. It's not Josh Allen hatred here. He's so fun to watch, minus the stupidity where we think he's putting himself at risk, but they may have literally missed it. It may not even be that the window's still open. It's so tough to discern that right now.
Well, and like, so I know we're doing a preview pod for the Bills and Bengals, but we're on this topic, and I do want to say, so I said I feel like their window is slamming shut, and I do genuinely feel that way because I disagree with what you just said about Miami's window. I think their window is very
right.
They just drafted Achane. Waddle is the heir apparent to Tyreek Hill. It is very obvious to me. They are only going
what you're
to
saying gets me excited.
add offensive pieces.
Stop it.
But but it's legitimate. Like Waddle was just drafted 3 years ago?
21
4 years ago?
Two full. It's his third season.
Okay, so 2 years ago. Third season. Okay, so third season. So he was drafted 3 years ago, we'll say, whatever. And he is the heir apparent to Tyreek Hill in this offense. It is very obvious. You are going to only get more people of that ilk that want to come play with this offense, especially if they're going to be competitive, especially if they're going to win divisions, they're going to be in the AFC Championship game. You're going to lure. It is the Patrick Mahomes effect. It's why Juju took a bargain to come here. It's why D-Hop called them and was like, do you guys want me to come play for no money at all? And they were like, LOL, mistake, first of all. Let's get that out of the way. But the Bills need to overcome that version of this version of the Dolphins. The Jets with Aaron Rodgers, possibly. They're a better team than them. The Patriots, whoever knows. They're 2-6 this season, but Bill Belichick knows football. If anything else, he knows football. The Chiefs will always be in it as long as Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are there. The Chargers have all the talent in the world. They're just miscoached. That's it. If they get a good coach, there's no reason that team can't be relevant. Like you said, Lamar is excellent.
He's doing what you'd want out of a guy that got the big contract because he has stuff to prove, and he's doing that. The chip on the shoulder is power.
Yeah, that you look at. Then you have the Steelers, who have an excellent defense and are a couple offensive pieces and an offensive coordinator away. The Browns are a quarterback away. The Bengals are the fucking Bengals. Then you have the Jags, who are excellent and, like you said, well coached. The Texans seem like they're on the come up. The Colts were dangerous with Anthony Richardson before he left, and the Titans last week showed that they are legitimate. If you're the Bills, this is now one of the most competitive conferences that's ever been in the NFL, based on and you guys have a 30-year-old Stephon Diggs. You know that
dead.
That aging curve is coming. A bunch of your
That's right.
defense is over that age as well. They're over the age of 30. That the Von Millers, the Jordan Poyers,
Micah might be too.
like Tre'Davious White can't stay healthy.
Maybe not.
Yeah, like it's there's a big case to be made that the Bills window is closing, and it's closing very, very fast.
It closed. You said it, and I believe it. Yeah, Micah Hyde's old too, 32. It's great. It's great to have veterans, right? We just need more balance these days because the game is getting so much faster. And I don't know that there's a scenario other than a Tyreek Hill where 32-year-olds faster than these 24-year-olds and 23-year-olds. Tyreek's the anomaly.
Tyreek's a freak. That's why. Yeah, he's the freak.
He's just at 30, isn't he?
So,
yeah,
I think he just turned 30.
But he works at it. He is a very fast man. Yeah, 29, not even 30.
No, he's about to be 30, December or something, I think he turns. March, okay. Yeah, so like he's coming to that aging curve, but like not, and he's a freak. He is going to age out of that speed at some point, but you're looking at least 2 more years of relevancy in a speed role. Then you're looking at a guy that runs.
I like what you said about what their future is. I wasn't really thinking it through from the fact because I'm so excited at how well it's going. I was very pro Tua.
It's going.
I liked it. I liked the winningness, and then the injury thing kept happening in the NFL too. So, which we're always still nervous about. But I think we've had enough games at his full health where people can believe the talent is there, the decision making is on the better side, and now he's got a head coach that's very supportive. So, yeah, not to make it all Dolphins love, but you got me even more excited to know that the Bills are trash and are going to lose to the Bengals, but also to be more excited about that maybe I don't have to, because again, I'm just never been there. What if they're good for multiple years in a row and we make a few? Obviously, I'd love to win a championship, but making the playoffs consistently is a very good vibe, right? And maybe winning a couple playoff games, like you could see this team doing that where you couldn't really before. The fact we got in with Tannehill and it was like, I think they even won a game or whatever, but it was like the first Jags win where it's like, oh my God, how'd that happen? Right. And then it fell apart after that.
Yeah, it's so, again, not to keep piling on the Dolphins. I think you're going to see in the next couple of years, some offensive pieces are going to want to come play in this offense. And I think you're going to see defensive players want to come and have this defense stand up because they're going to be one of the best teams in this conference. And it's really not hard to see how when they're doing it already with Braxton Berrios gets constant snaps.
They went for the all-speed team. They said, do you have jets? You have a role here. We don't care that you're 5'4". We don't care. We're going to put you in space so it won't matter. Now get going. I love it.
Yeah, I just think that the appeal of Miami, no state income tax, like all of these things work in Miami's favor. I have a hard time seeing 5 years down the road where you guys haven't won a Super Bowl.
Fuck yeah, from your mouth,
that's
dude.
Just my
your mouth
feeling.
To the baby Jesus.
That's just my gut feeling. Anyway, back to Bills Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to win this game. X factors for me in Buffalo is Josh Allen. You got to make the throws that you know are going to get there. You have to avoid the throws that are not going to get there, and you have to get down. If we've learned anything from Russell Wilson, from Patrick Mahomes, from a litany of rushing quarterbacks, slide, baby, slide. The best ability is availability. So he is my X factor for Buffalo. My X factor for the Bengals, Joe Mixon. Give me a big rushing game from Joe. I want him busting up between the tackles, setting up the play action for those receivers. All the Tyler Boyd slot touchdowns except for like one. Give me a Joe Mixon touchdown.
You knew who I wanted to say for my X factor, which is Tyler Boyd. I knew. Multiple slot touchdowns for the Bengalis. I don't think there will be an X factor for the Bills because they suck. But if I had to pick one, they're dead.
They're old and
if
dead.
I had to pick one, even though they're literally diluting his carries while he looked amazing, I'll go James Cook. He is rising and will matter. If the Bills, I hope they deal him if they won't use him as a featured back because they're bringing in other help and stuff. He's really coming into his namesake, if you will. But I still think the Bengals win. I think it was one of the ones we had to choose a score, and I went high scoring because I thought that'd be fun for a Sunday night. That's me hopeful. I did like a 30, 33-27 or something like that.
Yeah, I did 31-28, so Bengals 31-28. Real quick to just touch on the Chargers-Jets. I did agree with what you said in our previous recording where the Jets are the better coach team. I just think the Chargers have so much talent.
And it's just Austin a shame Eckler that the team healthy, there's like that much talent on. You're so right. Skill position players are exceptional. They're being misused. So that is my issue. It is not I think those players are fantastic from a fun to watch. They're good on both sides of the ball. They underperform for the last 3 or 4 seasons in a row. Hasn't Herbert, Eckler, Allen all been there for the last 3 seasons? I mean, I'm not making that up. Allen's been there longer than that. Yeah. Like they've had pieces. Yeah. So at what point are we going to shake the tree and go, well, it ain't those dudes and we're going to lose some of them, which means they got a moment in time here where if the front office doesn't make the right decision, you actually get another 5-7 years of shit because you missed it with the money. Yeah. And now, like, we've had countless teams go both ways on this, where they have a rise, like Jacksonville's having a rise, right? And then you have ones that take a turn, Carolina, right? They're going to be bad for a while now. Now, like, the Bears have hope of turning that around because they had some savvy trading. They've got a lot of picks. They could turn it around faster, but the Fields era started 2 or 3 seasons ago. So it's not a fast process. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think the Chargers are in more trouble than I hear people talking about.
Yeah, you've convinced me. I still think they're going to win this game, but Eckler's 28. Keenan Allen's over the age of 30.
This
Mike
is not
Williams
a bash on
healthy.
the play. No, I like people that are making the plays happen are so good.
But if we're gonna say that the Bills are in trouble, then so are the Chargers. Khalil Mack is not young. Joey Bosa also having some injury issues. As his brother. Like Derwin James is getting younger. He's not as good as his brother. He's so good. Anyway, I'm taking the Chargers in this game. I'm a big Justin Herbert fan. I think he's my favorite quarterback to watch just because I don't want to be solely Patrick Mahomes.
I love Pat too.
I love him.
For me, it's easier because I can go Tua, and have been a fan of Tua. Because when we ripped that box, I've liked Tua since before. I wanted them to draft Tua. I made that argument to Cuba, our mutual buddy, who he likes what we're getting, but he still has like Herbert nostalgia. It just feels like if Tua went to the Chargers, I think while we might be just fine with Herbert, I don't know. That kind of coaching doesn't seem like it would have worked, right? It doesn't seem like Staley could resonate.
I don't think it would have
worked. So that's just more praise to McDaniel than it is. But I feel very strongly that while I'm sure he's a nice guy or whatever, he is not the right coach to get the Chargers to the next level.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree at this point. I'm going to say my X factors for Chargers, Jets. For the Chargers, I'm going to say Keenan Allen. He's going to have to get open against Sauce Gardner, which is a task.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I believe so. That's a task. Keenan Allen is not a burner. Sauce Gardner is like 23. So he has all the speed.
You get a kick out of
this. He's very good in press coverage.
Sauce Gardner is Jacob's favorite player. He will ask when he watches, is Sauce on? Where's Sauce? I'm not kidding. It's very cute. He struggles to recognize him at different places. I showed him a picture, and he knows the color, but the away home jerseys is not registering. So when I was like, oh, he's not on the field yet, he sometimes got upset with me. He's like, where's Sauce? Show me Sauce. So I pulled up Sauce because he heard me sometimes when I'm watching on the Sundays and, it's my dad will be over or whatever, we're talking. And in that moment, I was talking about like this kid, Sauce, he is really exceptional. And my dad was agreeing. And then Jacob heard it. And I thought, if I can get it going a couple more times, I'll buy him a Sauce jersey. I don't care. I know that this is about the joy of my little man. Like, where's Sauce? Show me Sauce.
Pro Bowl jersey.
Right.
Pro Bowl jersey. That way you don't have any Jet shit in your house.
That's way smarter. Sorry about that.
I got you. No worries. So I think Keenan Allen for the Chargers, and I'm going to just say Sauce for the Jets just because if he blanket covers Keenan Allen, I don't even know what healthy receivers the Chargers are going to run out there. I know Quentin Johnson's around, but they haven't really implemented him in the offense. More Austin Eckler. Yay. He is also a running back of mine. So, yeah, that's what I'm going to go. And I'm going to say Chargers 27, Jets
Yeah, I think
20.
I was near there for the score projections. I had it lower. It was like for me, it was like the Jets 21, Chargers 17, I think is what I put in there. And the X factor for the Jets being that interior line beast. I think it's Quinnen Williams who can really make things happen, is having a good year as well. I think if they are to win, it's going to probably be because of a lot of pressure on Herbert. But conversely, I think if the Chargers would win, their X factor would be him more than I think what you said. No, you didn't say Eckler. You said Keenan. You said Keenan. So I think Herbert's going to have the burden and have to make it happen. And I will say I can see a version where Eckler's getting a ton of catches in a game like this. But again, it's a fun Monday night matchup. I don't know if there's a Manning cast. They had one 2 weeks ago, so I don't know if they have one or not. So, but I
don't know.
They might.
It's in
I
New
have
York,
enjoyed Troy and Joe though. So to Mike's point, he's not with us at the moment, but he likes them as a booth. I do too, and I like watching their little. They stick around and do a little mini 5 minutes with Scott Van Pelt after the game. I actually really like that.
Love Van Pelt. Yeah. Love him. All-time great. Love him. Well, that's all we have time for this week, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and listening to our marquee matchup predictions. Do us a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. Let us know if you think the Bills are dead, because obviously we think they're dead. They're dead.
They're trash.
Thank you so much again. We do greatly appreciate it, and we will see you all back here next time.